I was diagnosed in February 2007. I am still working, but I'm working in a different job now than when I was diagnosed, and I'm also now working part-time, but that's more due to being at home with my child rather than the MS. I've been working here since November 2007, and before then I was working in another job in London, where I was commuting a lot. And so when I switched over to this position here, it was much easier because it was actually a walkable distance. I am very open about my MS at work. Working for the MS Trust, obviously that helps. But in my previous position, when I was diagnosed, I decided to be open straight away from the onset because I was going into hospital quite a lot for testing and things before I was diagnosed. And in a small office, you do get quite a lot of gossip, and you do wonder why someone's going into the hospital and seeing doctors quite a lot. So I thought that I might as well be honest, and it did really help me. The first job that I did just after I was diagnosed, there was a few changes because at the time I was really badly affected by the fatigue because I was commuting. So I was actually allowed to sometimes go and use the restroom to lay down if it was getting particularly bad. You only needed like 20 minutes lay down and then you would be ready to go again. When I was firstly diagnosed as well, they sent in an OT to sort of assess my desk, which was useful because then they could see that I had all the equipment that I needed and a good chair for me to sit properly in. As this job with the MS Trust, because we have an open plan office, where I was sitting previously, it was really quite noisy because a lot of people were walking up to the desk behind me, and there was a lot of telephones ringing, which was really putting off my concentration, which made it really hard to get on with work. So I was moved to another desk, which was much more quiet, which was brilliant, really. Well, there's a few things I think can make the day-to-day working life a bit easier. Make sure that you get enough rest, like if you can, go and have a lay down. If you find it really, really tricky, then that's great. Otherwise, you might just need a few minutes to sit. And that might actually relax you a bit. For me, I think exercise is your friend. When I was first diagnosed, well, actually before I was diagnosed, when they didn't know that it was MS, I thought I had carpal tunnel syndrome. So I had stopped going to the gym, and the fatigue was extremely bad. So when I actually got back to work again and realized that, it's good to start working out, it was really hard to get into it because the fatigue was really bad. But you have to sort of overcome that obstacle. And once you're actually doing that, you start feeling really much better. And it doesn't need to be like really hardcore exercise, like start training for a marathon or anything like that. A lot of these things you can do at home. You can have an exercise video, or you can play these like Wii Fit type video games. So it doesn't need to be something that's really advanced. When I was diagnosed with MS, I saw it a bit like a wake-up call or a slap in the face. I was doing a job that I was not really enjoying that much. I mean, it was an okay job, but I didn't feel like I was being challenged so much. And also, it was a long commute in to work, which was making me really fatigued and tired. And I think I saw it like, we're not actually going to live forever, and I'm better off now leaving and doing something that I really want to do and something that's more interesting. So when this position at the MS Trust showed up, I just thought it was perfect for me. I think it really depends on where you're at with your MS at the time. If you're just newly diagnosed and you're struggling, then maybe you want to be more likely to say, okay, I'm going to give up work, and then you might regret it later if you start feeling better. Because when I was diagnosed, I was in quite a lot of pain, and I was feeling quite miserable and tired all the time. And if I would have given up then, and not knowing that 4 years later I hadn't actually been suffering any more relapses and I'm doing quite good, at the moment. I would have struggled trying to find a job and get back into it if I would have left it at that time.